Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of the Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning, and blessed Saturday to all our listeners. Welcome to Inside the News here on WINN FM 98.9. I am your host, Devon Cornelius. I trust that you guys are having a super Saturday, and I hope that you had a fantastic Friday. I hope that everyone is doing well. And again, welcome to our program here on WINN FM 98.9. Good morning to those at home and abroad. Good morning to all of you who have joined us via Facebook and YouTube and the other social media platforms. Good morning to all of you over there in Radio Land, and welcome to Inside the News here on WINN FM 98.9. Today's topic will be about efforts to economic recovery here in St Kitts and Nevis, and of course across the Caribbean region, as we are still battling with the harsh economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we have to be looking continuously at ideas to economic recovery here, not just in St Kitts and Nevis, but across the Caribbean region. And we have to be able to get back to that state of normalcy, not just with the health aspect of COVID-19, but with the economy as well, with vaccines being rolled out all across the globe. We have the AstraZeneca vaccine in the Caribbean, we have Moderna, we have Pfizer. And so surely, or slowly but surely, we are getting there. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. Some would want us to get there now, but the reality is it is going to be a long road. It is going to be a long road, and I look forward to that day when we can all go back to normal, where we can all go back to doing what we were doing before. Of course, still, being healthy and clean people, because one of the reasons why I think we have COVID is because people are so nasty. But let me just say, I hope that we get back to a state of normalcy where everything is back to normal. We're able to have parties and these events without limits. But we're in COVID-19, so we have to adhere to the protocols, and we have to make sure that we do the right thing to keep us safe. So later on in the program, of course, we will be welcoming your calls and your contribution to our program. You can call us at 466-0989, 762 and 662. Remember, we also have the WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204, and you can join us via WhatsApp to be a part of this discussion today. Earlier in the week, we here at WINN FM, we took a look at the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, where they the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, loan access vital to restart the economy. A number of people are without jobs, and people are desperately looking for money to pay their bills, to get things done, to keep the lights on, to keep feeding their families. And so we understand that people are now without money. You know, there was some talk going around last year about saving for a rainy day, but let us be realistic. Today is the 13th day of March 2021, according to my watch here, and the pandemic, we started experiencing some effects of the pandemic late February, mid-March. And so, yes, you can save. Yes, you should save. Yes, you should have some money in the reserves so that when you lose your job, you could, fall back on something. But it has been a year. A year has gone by since the pandemic. And so the reality is the savings from that rainy day fund have dwindled. And the reality is that people have no more money. People have no more money. For those who got the assistance from Social Security with the stimulus, the money done. Let me say that in dialect. The money done, it gone. And so access to money, loan access is very vital to restart the economy. So says the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Of course, the banks can't be going around just giving everybody money, because when the banks lend you their money, they have to be sure that you would be in a position to pay back because it is a loan. But getting back to that normal state that we once had it would take some time. It would take some time. But the reality is people are suffering, even with the borders being opened and a gradually increase in businesses opening. People are still suffering. The big businesses, the small businesses, even though you're making money, even though you have staff employed, you're still trying to make ends meet. You're still trying to make ends meet. And so we understand what's really happening. Does everybody understand? I don't know. I like to say unless you are in their position, you would never understand. Now, in April 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic began to take its toll on the local economy, the government injected a $120 million stimulus package from what it described as its significant financial surplus. A year later, local businesses are still reeling from the economic fallout from COVID-19 and are now desperately in need of financing. We have a number of big and small businesses here in St Kitts and Nevis, and they were placed under tremendous pressure as a result of COVID. A year later, some of these businesses took the decision to close because they were not making any money. And to have your doors open every day, having to pay staff, but you're not making any money, it's hard. And so a number of these businesses, they had to close their doors, and they had to take those extreme measures to prevent their business from going bankrupt. And so these businesses were forced to close. It's a year later. Not just these big businesses, but those shops down at the Port Zante. We know they depend heavily on the cruise tourism. Now, let me just say that I'm not saying that it is the fault of the government, or it is your fault or my fault or anybody else's fault for the cruise ships not being here. We understand. We understand. We're in a pandemic, and it is not safe, as it is now, for people to be traveling via the cruise industry. But we have to face the reality. We really have to face the reality. And these businesses, a year later, have not seen a single customer. Now, if you ask them, they would want to know what is the plan, or what does the road look like to recovery. they would want to know. But as I have said, unless we are in their position, we would never understand. So we would always have a different point of view or a different sentiment or a different opinion on an issue such as that, or any issue for a matter of fact. The president of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Giselle Matthews, spoke about the loan access, and she said the loan access is really vital to restart the economy. And we have to understand that people need their money. We have a number of people waiting for their severance. And I realize that this severance talk has been, is either people just started to stop talk about it, or maybe people don't want their money anymore, or it's no longer on the table for discussion. But the reality is there are people who worked years in the tourism industry, they worked hard, and they're waiting for their money. And these people are waiting for their money to basically catch up with their bills, with their responsibilities. And for you to tell them that there is no money or you would have to wait an extended time is harsh, because these people worked, they put their money, or they thought that their money was being put aside, and now that they're waiting for their money, they cannot get access to it. For people who are getting, who are living, because there's some people in this pandemic who are living comfortably, you know. There's some people living comfortably. I mean, you can't vex with them because they did the necessary planning and make sure that they're financially stable. But the people who worked hard and were being told that their monies are being put aside, now today they're out of a job and they don't have access to their money. We will say thank you to our sponsors for this program. Without them, this program would not have been possible. And when we return, we will hear a clip from Miss Giselle Matthews, the president of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, speaking to loan access, vital to restart the economy. We will take a break, and we will be right back.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today, because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go round.
Welcome back to Inside the News on WINN FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius. You will now be hearing from Giselle Matthews. She's the president of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
This is where we are in our thinking, is that we are going to advocate and hope that we can work together with government to see how, or the Development Bank, to see if there are funds coming in from other sources through the, I think maybe the Caribbean Development Bank. How can these funds reach that sector in tourism and tours to get this destination to a point where we can be competitive in the game again very, very shortly, providing everyone vaccinates and we're protected, yes, and we're ready to reopen.
Well, no, I can't. I know Mr. Saturday wants to say something. I'm going to come to him in just a moment, but I must ask you about the elephant in the room, and that elephant is the cruise sector. I understand that upwards of 80% of visitors to St Kitts and Nevis may be coming through the cruise ships that come here. What can you tell us about the cruise industry? And are my numbers correct?
Yeah, your number is right. 85% of our total tourism visitors are cruise. As you know, we've invested in a pair, major investments as we go back to the same tour operators. Many of them reinvested because of that stream that they were receiving, and knowing the number was over $1 million visitors per year. We had made that mark in 2018, I believe. And so, yeah, a major thrust was put in. A lot of people put a lot on the line for that industry. It is the elephant. Some people don't like to talk about it. We cannot get away from it. It is the livelihood of too many people. And I think each cruise call contributes about 300,000 in trickle down into the economy. So how can we not talk about it? And we have to have a plan ahead, because these ships are planning already. The itineraries are out for 2021. As soon as the CDC says time to sail again, everybody's vaccinated, they've done their testing, they're getting on the water, and the Caribbean is one of the hottest spots in terms of all of the news releases we read. The Caribbean is going to be one of the biggest attractions again, as usual. How does St. Kitts get back in that and get on that itinerary? You know, we've made a few blunders over the last several months. But I believe that we need to communicate strongly with these ships, with the cruise sector. We need to get back the powers that be, Ministry of Tourism, the NEOC. I'm calling on every government institution, SCASPA, to get back in the game and start to communicate with these guys. Because if we do not, we are just going to be losing the season of 2022 and possibly 23 if we don't have a plan. We must start planning. We're not asking you to open all and sundry. That's not what the Chamber is saying. You have to be very careful. No, I don't want anyone to misread what we're saying. We're asking that we start planning and letting this industry know that we are planning a policy for the way ahead, and we are very much willing to speak very quickly to them about what that policy could look like, or at least communicate to say, we appreciate the business, we need it, and we're very willing to get going in a conversation.
That was the president of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Miss Giselle Matthews. So she spoke about, you know, the cruise industry and the challenges that we are facing. It is the reality that, you know, many people are still hitting hard times. People are still hitting hard times, and many people look forward to when we are able to take off these masks and leave them off. I'm going to open the phone lines for a short bit to get your comment on that. We have any calls? Remember the numbers to call are 466-0989, 762 and 662. You can also send us a WhatsApp at 662-2204. Now, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States will be celebrating 40 years 40 years. I would say that that is indeed a remarkable achievement, and I would want to congratulate the OECS on achieving such a milestone. And we would shift the conversation just a little bit, not too far away. It's tied in. So the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States will be celebrating 40 years on Monday, March 15th, and they will be partnering with the Government Information Service in St. Lucia to host the virtual official launch of the OECS 40th anniversary. For information's sake, the OECS was established by the 1981 Treaty of Bastia, revised on June 18, 2010, establishing an OECS economic union. The OECS region now boasts of a membership of 11 countries comprising Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines as protocol member states, with Anguilla, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and the British Virgin Islands as associate members. Now, on June 18, 2021, the organization will celebrate 40 years of integration. But on Monday, they will have the launch of the event. This integration movement of Caribbean islands continue to present immense opportunities for sustainable growth and prosperity for OECS member states and, by extension, its people. It says the launch will present an overview of the planned events and activities, as well as the theme and logo for the 40th anniversary. Now, as we are talking about the OECS, there's just one question that I would love or like to ask. What has the OECS done for the OECS? I'm not sure if that makes any sense to you, but straightforward. What has the OECS done for the OECS? What are some of the accomplishments we have made over the years? What are some of the things that you would like to congratulate the OECS on, and where you think something could have been done better, and where you think improvements could have been made, where you think the OECS fell short? And so I look forward to having this discussion with you. We're going to say thank you to our sponsors again, and when we return, we will open the phone lines to welcome your calls. Remember the numbers to call are 469-0989-762 and 662. Also, you can send us a WhatsApp via 662-2204, and you can send us, be a part of the discussion as well, via WhatsApp, 662-2204. Let's take this commercial break and we'll be right back.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastia or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today, because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
We have some calls on the line. Caller, good morning. We seem to have lost that call. Okay, we lost those calls. Callers, you can call us back. So sorry about that. Okay, we lost those calls. We are still taking your calls here on WINN FM 98.9 for another edition of Inside the News. I am your host, Devon Cornelius. You can call us. We have another call. Caller, good morning. You're live on Inside the News.
Mr. Cornelius, and good morning, Miss Giselle Matthew. I'm hearing Miss Matthew crying out for the persons who involved with tourism to be in contact with Casper and whoever else pertaining to the tourism industry. Here is it, a farmer trying to recreate our tourism and our agricultural industry and having, bales and bales of problems with individuals who just come up next to him farming 2018. I've been up here since 1985, and it's like I cannot go and fence Milan to start to do my planting. I got in contact with police officers, and it's like the police and they learn from two different books. One set is telling me one thing, another set is telling me a different. But I am calling out to Mr. Hilroy Brandy and Mr. Adolph Adams. Please, I'm asking you all, please to get involved. Because when things start and they end, this week I'm at 3 weeks. 3 weeks I'm being prevented from pulling my fence in. And I don't understand why. Personally, I do not understand why. I can't go do what I got to do. During them 3 weeks, I've been doing other work, so then the boiler time get lapsing, me waiting. I do making certain other things in progress. So when I'm ready to put on my drip lines, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go put on my seasoning pepper slips next week or the middle of next week, but I can't. Man, tell is something, I want the whole nation to hear this, because this thing is like a warfare. And Nevis had something similar to this took place. Where two farmers are at war. Almost a whole farm get chopped up. Tomorrow I plan to go pull my fence line, and I'm going to machine up here, and sub it. In order for me to pull my fence line, I'm going to push down some of his posts because he take up the road leading up to the range.
Well, caller, have you made any complaints with the authorities?
The police came up here. One set of police tell me one thing. Police and army man. So on two different occasions they came up here. Well, one set telling me, we're going to assist you. And next set don't come up and telling me, I must go to this authority, go to that authority. When I don't got my documents in my hand. Since 1989, the 19th of December, I got my documents in my hand. And I'll tell you something to you, Mr. Cornelius. After this said piece of land, right? Back in 1999, hot peppers leave here and reach Canada, Hot peppers don't leave here and reach Canada back in 1999, All them times this person wasn't up here. Up to 2016, he wasn't up here. Man, understanding why. It's like, for me to go do what I got to do. I have to end up in his property because how he fence up here. It's like, to me, it's like I can't explain it properly because anybody who come up here, right, and see what he did, they want to know if this is a madman, if this is a man who looking war with somebody, and if he looking war, I'm going to be a defender. Me starting no war. It's like up here going to be left for somebody to kill somebody. I am calling out on the authorities to get involved. This the top brass. Mr. Adolph Adams and Mr. Hilroy Brandy. My name is Koshroy Tweed, Koshroy Tweed. My phone number is 668-2555. I'm asking you all, please, I'm begging you all, before this thing escalates into any kind of warfare, please, come and see me, because I don't know if it's 2 books or 3 books you all use it to teach these people to be police officers. Come and see, because tomorrow, man, I'm going to be pulling my fence in. And anything will happen, going to happen, man. Anything happen up here, out of the way, even because of the police officers and they are not doing their work properly. Good morning, bye.
Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution, and I hope that you are able to be at peace with the challenges that you are facing with your farm. We are still taking your calls here on Inside the News. Remember the numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. You can also send us a WhatsApp at 662-2204. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You are live on Inside the News.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning.
And good morning to all your listeners at home and abroad. I'm giving God thanks for another day. And I must say congratulations to the OECS and the central bank. Now you asked a question. Well, I was involved with the interacting with the OECS and the central bank from the time I started to work at the planning unit. And the first thing we must look at is our foreign exchange, the value of the dollar. You would, you might know, you would have heard, there were days, I remember when I went to Jamaica first, it was 3 Jamaica dollars to 1 US. It is now 144, almost 145. You see how much it has depreciated? But the EC dollar has been consistent at 2.7. And people may ask, well, how so? Now, they were able to do that because all of the OECS countries sent all their foreign exchange through the central bank, so that even if one, like we're having now, even if one country had a drop in its foreign exchange earnings, it would balance out with the rest. All the loans you see them get, every loan they make, every grant, all of the foreign exchange goes to the central bank. So you will hear the governor say we have a 95% back in because our money is backed by our reserves. Now, the other thing is the capacity building. What you see now is not what we had before. I recall the OECS organized a lot of workshops. All of the statistics department, most of them used to have foreign consultants, if you want to call them, some from the UN, some from different places, doing the work. And they carried out massive training in the OECS statistical offices, in the planning unit, every aspect of government. They have been involved in building technical capacity. Another thing that they are good for is policy. I don't know how many persons know, but most of the policies you see in the individual countries are actually regional policies, even in education. There's the education reform policy, you know, so that the different governments got together and said, this is what we want, this is the way we want our education system to go. So whereas it might have been, you might have thought it was good back then, but it was quite deficient. And so you find even our energy policies. And for those who are interested, you can go on to the OECS website or the ECCB, and you will see it there. Energy policy, climate policy, monetary policy. You know, the Monetary Council is made up of ministers of finance, most of whom are heads of government. And they were, you would have heard that they were able, I think Dr. Timothy Harris is the present chairman. They're able to leverage the bank to do things, to put money into economies, to make loans, to make grants like the one he said for the to bring the vaccines from India. It was done by the OECS. So most of our monetary policies, well, government do fiscal, but because they're ministers of government, they're able to shape their fiscal policy to match the monetary policy. So a lot of what we take for granted, the treaties, they have treaties.
Yes.
In some countries, they have joint commission, where you could have joint representation. The OECS Secretariat, the one in Malta, I think is Malta. We have our former Commissioner of Police. He represents the OECS. So in terms of policy, diplomatic policies, most of what we do, now some of them coincide with the CARICOM, because we are also a member of CARICOM. But a lot of what happens in our countries today is because of the existence of the OECS Secretariat and the Central Bank. So we have a lot to be proud of. They have a lot to be proud of. They still have a lot more to do. A lot more to do. And I want them to continue the capacity building, because there are a lot of things that I would expect our government to do, that they're still lagging behind. And part of the problem, I think, is the turnover in government.
Mm-hmm.
You train a set, and by the time you don't train them, they move off. So that you are forever training. So I want to commend the governor of the Central Bank, because it is rough, you know. Sometimes we take a lot of things for granted. I hear you talking about what can be done for the small businesses. Some of them have to go out of business. Down at Port Zante, those are luxury goods, apart from the food court. If the government gives some relief, I wouldn't expect the people who get them to go down Port Zante to shop, unless they're going to buy food, and it's better they go and cook. I mean, we've got to be realistic. You look at for the government to decide what they're going to do. They must first look at what is the demand for these products that this company is selling.
But at the same time, Ms. Henry, if these businesses are to be no more, what do we do when we get back to the state of normalcy, when we're when we're in a position to invite tourists back to our island?
You expect anybody to go down and buy luxury goods in time?
Wait. You didn't answer my question. I said, what do we do when the tourists come back? Because if these businesses close, when they come, where do they go? Because when we were at that stage, these tourists, they came and they shopped. And these businesses contributed significantly to the economy. Some of them were able to employ locals. And so they had a place in our community.
And they still have a place, you know.
But how could they have a place if they're gonna close?
They don't have to close and shut down shop, you know. Just like how the banks gave moratorium, right? For those who are renting, they should be given moratoriums on the rent. And nothing else you could do for them. It will be unreasonable. Let us say the government go and give them subventions, right? So they throw back the door. Who buying? Who will be buying? I mean, we got to be logical. The majority of the places that survive in our places selling food, food and medicine. If you got a store, a place selling upscale clothes, you have options, you know. They don't only have options, you know. It is called cutting the price. You know, if they're serious about getting sales, they could start by having sale on some of the products. It ever occurred to you?
Of course.
Yeah, they got all kind of souvenir this and that. Because a significant proportion of the population working, you know. And they say, oh, a lot of people working. A lot of people. What is the unemployment rate? You can calculate it. The other day I was calculating it.
What is it?
They said what? They said we have about 30,000 persons registered, right?
Uh-huh.
That's a rough thing. And they said about 5,000 unemployed. That's 1/6. What percent is that?
You said...
So we're talking about?
Uh-huh. Okay, okay.
Do the math. You understand what I'm saying? And a number of them have gone into agriculture. What the government need to do is what any country will do. Go into infrastructure. Now, that would mean that some women are going to have to take off the fingernail polish and go into construction, along with the men. And some of those who have the taxi men who are accustomed to be clean every day are going to have to go dirty. Infrastructure right now, because anything you pump into the economy going into the supermarket and into the drugs too, and maybe some entertainment. We got to be realistic. Some of the businesses, the owner should take a look at them. Can I survive? You know, because in America, I was listening to thing about Nigeria. In Nigeria, they gave each farmer $61,000 alone, right? Production did not increase. Some people using money for something else. Even here, in 2009, remember when we had the financial recession?
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Yes, yes.
Under Dr. Denzel Douglas, many persons were given 50,000, 75,000, 100,000, and by 2011, there was scarcely anything to show for it. We need a good strategy. As I said, we need to take a look at the structure of the economy as to what kind of jobs you can bring in. I don't make no sense to give them and they open back the store and nobody buying. Nobody buying. Because the first thing you're thinking about is thing, and another thing with the PAP. Many of them crying and they're getting the 500. The government failed in that they said they were going to give them cards to use.
So they're getting actual cash?
Yeah, they get check from the treasury or in their bank account. When you hear lots about it, oh, they cut off the lights and they cut off the water. That 500 was given to ease that. Now, if you lost your job, it goes into food. You understand? And it was designed to buy food, pay your electricity bill, pay your water bill. I mean, we don't think. We just don't think. A lot of them still get in, and as I heard somebody say, some of them, they're not even eligible. But they get in. A lot of those who we talk about, oh, they ain't working. They were put on the PAP. Do you know that?
A lot of them who are not working were put on the PAP?
Yeah.
How you know that?
Telling you.
Well, I don't know about that.
How come you don't know that?
I don't know about that.
Nevisians and Kittitians were put on the PAP. Because remember, some of them did not qualify. They did not qualify for the Social Security.
But how is it that you qualify for the PAP if you're not working? I thought you have to be working.
No. A lot of people are not working. Remember, you have to earn less than
3,000. But if you're not working, you ain't earning nothing at all. I thought you have to have a job to go on the PAP program. That's what I thought.
The answer. A lot of them were put on the PAP because they did not qualify. I'm talking about a lot of self-employed. A lot of the self-employed were put on the PAP. So sometimes when we defending, you must know who we're defending. I heard somebody saying, "Man, if it's you, they want more from Social Security." You heard the uproar, the political uproar. You heard them, right?
What?
Oh, they're going to do Social Security money and all of that. The government could give them again.
Do you think the government should?
If it needs to.
Why?
Well, what we say now is the hypocrisy in this country. The oppositions who are making a big fuss, who are song and dance, or they shouldn't take the Social Security money and all of that. But if they're going to give, they should only give to those who have contributed. Because some of them still have not registered. Some of them on the PAP. We must talk the truth, When you walk around Basti, how many begging you see? Let me ask you.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't be looking for that.
You don't go Bastia, don't tell a lie.
I go to Bastia, but I don't be looking for that.
No, they would have been begging you. They would have been begging you. All I'm saying that they got to have a better strategy. Don't just give them money. Because, I mean, under Dr. Denzel Douglas, millions gone down the drain and nothing to show. Development banks suffered too. They were given loans and things and they never passed back. So they have got to come up with better policies and something called monitor and manage. If you give people and you don't monitor it, then they're going to buy 85-inch television, you know?
Well, thank you so much for your contribution. We are still taking your calls here Inside the News. It is 10 minutes to the hour. We'll break at 12 for the headline news. Interesting conversation that we are having here, and some good points by the previous caller. But it is about the road to economic recovery in St Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean region. And you call us with a suggestion as to how you think we would be able to get back to a state of normalcy where people are able to go back out to their respective workplace, and so that they could continue making money to provide for their families. Yes, there was a stimulus. In terms of who got it and who did not get it, I don't know. I don't have the list. But some people are calling for another stimulus to be injected into the economy because people are still meeting hard times. If we have no call, we'll say thank you to our sponsors one more time. And when we come back, we'll just wrap up this first hour of our program. Stay tuned.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and zero annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go round.
We have a caller. Caller, good morning. You are live on Inside the News.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Greetings to you. In the name of Jesus Christ, with the only Savior of sinners and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, you're talking about back on the road to recovery for the Federation. And what is true for the Federation is also true for every other country in the world as well. The only way to true success, prosperity, advancement, liberty, and freedom and all of that sort of stuff that is very good and most beneficial to us all is to do things according to the Bible. Because the Bible have the economic plan that we need to follow. It have the political plan that we need to follow. It have everything that we need to follow to be a more successful, blessed, and prosperous federation. Now, just like any time, it also applies to this time, and it will always apply at every time. There is no exception. It is only the Bible that works, and not necessarily the Bible that works. And what are some of the things that the Bible instructs us to do? Well, economically, the Bible instructs us and commands us to have an economy that is free market, capitalist, with at least the continual decreasing or cutting of taxes and government regulations, with at minimum at least those things. All the other economic models, be it mixed economy, socialism, fascism, communism, that sort of stuff that do not work, that only bring in the end death, hardship, destruction, and all of those sort of stuff. And this is a lesson we all need to learn, because we all need to first receive Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, so that we don't go hell when we die, and that our minds will be open to be truly obedient to the Bible. And secondly, in receiving Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, He would lead us. If we are obedient to the Word of God, which we will ought to be, He would lead us in the right path, including to national recovery.
Caller, okay.
This is what is needed.
Okay, so as you made reference to the economic plan you said in the Bible, could you outline some of the ideas?
Well, in broad strokes, the Bible basically gives us the principles that we should not go against. For example, Romans chapter 13 tell us that where the God-given duties and obligations of government are concerned, the obligation is to punish those who do evil, all according to the Word of God, as the Word of God tells us what evil need to be punished and how those evils need to be punished, and also to praise those that do good, and to pick up the taxes necessary to administer those God-given functions to government. And the Bible also tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6, we ought not to go beyond what is written in the Bible. So therefore, these are the only God-given biblical limitations and duties and obligations of government, to punish evildoers, to praise those that do good, and to pick up the taxes to perform such God-given tasks. All of these other things like education, roads, health, tourism, you name them all of these things now are the private sector duties and responsibilities according to the Bible, because they do not fit within the God-given duties of government according to Romans chapter 13 and other scriptures as well. And we see that how these things, relatively and comparatively speaking, bears out in this world, because countries that move closer to the Bible way of doing things, and sad to say there's none that ideally has reached that spot. It's very sad to say, but still, comparatively speaking, countries that move more in the direction of capitalist free market and lowering taxes, those countries do the best. Whereas countries that are more into the direction of socialism, communism, fascism, mixed economy, and that sort of stuff, those countries do the worst. So we see the truth of the Bible teaching, even to a limited degree, being displayed in this very world. That is just to show you, the more you go into the Bible way of doing things, is the more those countries prosper.
Right.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes, we are out of time, so just wrap up and we'll close off this program.
Yeah. So if we want lasting, prosperous, permanent, prosperity and advancement, development of our country, we need to do things the Bible way, only because only the Bible have the answer, and we need to do it in Jesus Christ's name and receive him as our Lord and Savior. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. We'll break now for the headline news. And when we return, we will continue our program at 12:30. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of our program. To all of you who joined us via YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much. All of you in the radio land, continue to have a super Saturday. You will now hear the headline news, and we will be back at 12:30.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
You found the sound. 98.9 WINN FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults. It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, DeLille Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
With the WIN Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines, the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine donated computers to several primary schools to enhance the information and communication technology in the classroom. The National Assembly meets on Thursday, March 18th. A regional update on COVID-19 vaccination numbers. The University of the West Indies principal at the Cave Hill campus fears layoffs in the face of budget cuts. In a report from HTS News, St. Lucia's Minister of Transport, Guy Joseph, to present COVID relief proposal for transport sector in Cabinet. Internationally, the United States city of Minneapolis has agreed to pay $27 million to the family of George Floyd in the largest settlement of its kind in the country's history. Now, the details. The global vaccination drive has officially soared past the number of confirmed cases, with a whopping 300 million people vaccinated as of March 10th, according to the World Health Organization. At home, the total number of first jabs as of March 12th are 6,227, with 4,509 on St Kitts and 1,718 on Nevis. With vaccines currently available for 10,000 people in the Federation, there are enough vaccines to provide another 3,000 with first jabs, barring any plan by the health officials to save some in case of community spread. Taking a look in the region, Barbados has administered approximately 50,703 doses of COVID-19 vaccine as of March 12th, along with Antigua and Barbuda with 21,730, St. Lucia with 17,389, and Grenada with 3,000. And as of March 11th, the Commonwealth of Dominica 13,565, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines 7,759. Trinidad and Tobago recently started its drive with 440 first doses. Jamaica received its first 50,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines donated by the government of India and started administering the vaccine on March 10th. Reuters added a disclaimer stating this vaccine rollout data is reported by the number of doses of coronavirus vaccines administered, not the number of people who have been vaccinated, because most vaccines require 2 doses and many countries have different schedules to deliver the second dose. We do not know with this data how many people have ultimately received both doses. The Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Friday, March 12th, handed over 5 new computers to 5 primary schools in St. Kitts to enhance the use of information and communication technology in the classroom. The Edgar T. Morris Primary School, Estridge Primary, Violet Petty Primary, Sandy Point Primary, and the Newton Ground Primary School received the computers. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, Education Minister Janelle Powell, Dean of the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Sean Callalan, attended the ceremonies. The Chamber of Industry and Commerce is congratulating the St. Kitts and Nevis Anguilla National Bank on its 50th anniversary. Those celebrations started on February 28th, the Chamber noted in a press release, and the bank commenced operations in 1971 as the smallest bank in the Federation, and now has grown to become the largest commercial bank in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. According to its managing director, Dr. Analdo Bailey, National Bank was incorporated on February 15th, 1971, with paid-up capital of $164,000 and total assets of $440,000. The bank now boasts a capital base of $539 million and total assets in excess of $3.3 billion. Its financial performance has been impressive, with an unbroken record of growth and profit since its inception. National Bank is one of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce's longest-standing A-category members and has actively contributed to the development and growth of the private sector of the Federation over the years. The CEO, Mr. Donald Thompson, is also a director on the board of the Chamber. The National Assembly meets Thursday, March 18th. The order papers are to be disseminated later according to a release from the government. In a report from HTS News, St. Lucia's Minister of Transport, Guy Joseph, to present COVID relief proposal for transport sector in Cabinet.
At the end of the day, it's a negotiating process. It is something that has been ongoing. The chief economist in my ministry has been dealing with that matter in terms of crunching the numbers and doing all of the things that are required with the sector so that in due course we can be in a position to disclose what is being done.
A highly anticipated outcome for the much talked about COVID-19 relief aid for the public transportation sector. Since March 2020, the sector has been clamoring for a reprieve to counterbalance the financial inequality brought on by reduced passenger capacity and added cost of personal protective equipment to ward off the virus. Now, a year later, and following a recent meeting between Minister for Transportation Guy Joseph and NCOPT officials, the council was again sent back to the drawing board.
The minister did request that I have a meeting with the chief economist. We've had that meeting, myself and a few members of the executive. We've had meetings with the chief economist, and what we did was to tailor the proposal.
NCOPT President Godfrey Ferdinand hails the advice and expertise of Chief Economist Mr. Tommy Descott.
One of the good things is that the chief economists have actually submitted it in what you call a cabinet memo proposal, so that the minister can take it to cabinet. So we are hoping that if this goes to cabinet this week, we will get a response from the minister by next week.
In 2020, minibus operators withdrew their services in protest over the economic woes caused by the COVID-19 pandemic protocols, urging the state to step in to address their plight. Ferdinand admits that the bus drivers also have to work to help find middle ground in the prolonged negotiations.
Some of the times, the fault is not necessarily that of anybody else but ourselves, in that when we're requesting information from our members, they take a long time to give it. And for you to give a proper proposal, you would have to have the data. And that's sometimes the reason why. But what I can assure members is that we've completed the proposal. It should be going to cabinet by this coming week, and from there we'll hear what the minister has to say.
The NCOPT president says that despite a decline in positive COVID-19 cases, the sector's numbers are still locked in at the 10-person per minibus commuter threshold. The bus lobby continues to await word on a decision on the much-delayed COVID-19 relief package. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
The University of the West Indies principal at the Cave Hill campus fears layoffs in the face of budget cuts. Barbados Today has the story.
Principal and Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, Professor the Most Honorable Udin Barreto, fears there could be layoffs at the university if it continues to witness a reduction in its operational budget. The outgoing principal, in her final report to the council meeting on Friday, said that despite several improvements in critical areas, even in the face of growing adversity and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the already financially struggling university also had to contend with continuous reduction in its annual budget.
The Cave Hill campus is at the financial bare bones. We are challenged that we cannot really go any lower. In the past year, we face many challenges with aging and faulty equipment and leaking buildings. Our submission to TAC last year represented 73% of our 2015-2016 budget, or a reduction of 27% compared to the 2015-2016 budget. In the past 6 years, we have generated considerable cost reductions through implementing many measures, and we did this, Chair, without any layoffs. But I regret to state that any further cuts in our operational budgets would mean that the campus would have to seriously reevaluate that option.
We now bring you these international reports.
The city of Minneapolis has put a price on just how much Black Lives Matter. In the case of George Floyd, $27 million. That's the amount the city has agreed to pay in a civil settlement with Floyd's family in the racially charged case of a black man who died beneath a white police officer's knee.
I thank the state of Minnesota for getting this settlement taken care of. But even though my brother is not here, he's here with me in my heart. Because if I could get him back, I would give all of this back.
The settlement is the largest ever in a Minneapolis police shooting. It also eclipses the $12 million the Kentucky city of Louisville paid recently in the death of Breonna Taylor, gunned down in her own home by police 1 year ago Friday. A Floyd family lawyer says the beneficiaries go beyond one family.
The financial compensation most directly impact George Floyd and his family, the future of their family. But it is the policy reforms that affects all of us.
Other cities will think twice, he says, before allowing police to use chokeholds, no-knock warrants, and other controversial tactics because of cases like this one. As George Floyd's family reacted to the settlement, the man who knelt on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds was less than a mile away. He has spent the week in a Minneapolis courtroom where the court is selecting jurors to decide if he should be convicted of murder. Derek Chauvin faces second and third degree murder and manslaughter charges and the risk of decades in prison. The other three officers will face charges later this year of aiding and abetting him.
Those officers will be held accountable. There is a prosecution team that actually cares and is fighting. And if you need a reminder, just think of the George Floyd case, and that if you don't get policing correct, if you don't make these changes, if you don't fix the policies that are happening, then you'll be seeing us again.
Despite the settlement, the Floyd family insists justice won't be served until that happens. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
For basketball fans, it's game on.
Extremely excited to go to a game. I'm a huge basketball fan.
They'll do whatever it takes to see their favorite team, including taking a COVID test.
We got tested, and it turns out where we got tested, it wasn't valid. So now we have to get retested here.
Or in this case, a retest.
Not quite the crowd you'd expect here for a game night. Attendance is being limited to 10% capacity, and you have to have a negative PCR COVID test on your phone in order to get inside.
Sports venues in New York are testing out a new app meant to verify the holders COVID-free. It's a digital record, what some are likening to passports, allowing access to countries or nightclubs currently being used to verify vaccination in places like Israel and China. Leading New York mayoral candidate Andrew Yang believes there should be more of this technology on the local level, in shops and workplaces.
So this, to me, is going to be a vital element of getting the city back on its feet, for people to be able to quickly convey their vaccination information. And this is something the city needs to invest in.
Paul Meyer runs a technology foundation called the Commons Project that's been working with airlines to develop a system that's not only secure, but also internationally recognized.
People are showing up at the airport waving pieces of paper that are easily forged. If you think about it from a country's perspective, countries want to open up, they want to allow travel to resume to get their economies going, but their first responsibility is to protect their population's health.
But the slow rollout of vaccination efforts made clear that lack of digital access remains a problem among the most vulnerable Americans. And critics worry implementing this on a local level will just increase inequalities.
Today, 1 in 5 Americans don't have access to a smartphone, and that number is much higher when you look at those over 65. So we're potentially talking about a form of digital segregation that will wall off millions of New Yorkers from everyday life.
At this stage of the reopening game, access for some appears to be winning over access to all in the rush to jumpstart the economy. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, New York.
Local folklore here is steeped with stories of just how mysterious Philippine bats can be. But we are not climbing Mount Makiling to explore legendary tales. These Filipino scientists are testing bats for new strains of coronaviruses. They hope to prevent another global pandemic. Philip Alviola has been recording and testing bats across the country for more than 10 years. The bat species found here on Mount Makiling is the closest genus to the one in Wuhan, China, where the first case of COVID-19 was recorded.
Gave us all the more reason to be urgent about doing this virus work. The government, in more ways than one, refocused their priorities on working on virology and epidemiology.
So it's 5:30 local time. The mist nets have been set up, and researchers here tell us any time now the bats are going to come out of the cave.
We stay quiet for a few minutes. The air's cold, and the night's creatures soon start to make their presence felt. And then the first bat flies into the trap. Then another. And another. The researchers say about 5,000 bats come here during the mating season. Now, they think only a few hundred are left. With the captured bats safely contained, we make our way back from the forest.
Female.
The bats are identified,
Adult post-lactating.
measured,
Yung harmonic yung around 90.
and swabbed before they're released back into the wild. Dr. Alviola and his team have isolated at least 7 kinds of viruses over the past decade, including coronavirus and an Ebola virus. They say their work serves as a blueprint that can be used to develop vaccines globally, including those for coronavirus. And they're driven by their belief that every evolution in human history has been made because of a scientist's determination. Jamel Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Manila.
You were listening to the WINN FM headline news on 98.9. Our top stories were: the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine donated computers to several primary schools to enhance the information and communication technology in the classroom. The National Assembly meets on Thursday, March 18th. A regional update on COVID-19 vaccination numbers. The University of the West Indies principal at the Cave Hill campus fears layoffs in the face of budget cuts. In a report from HTS News, St. Lucia's Minister of Transport, Guy Joseph, to present COVID relief proposal for transport sector in cabinet. Internationally, the United States city of Minneapolis has agreed to pay $27 million to the family of George Floyd in the largest settlement of its kind in the country's history. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINN FM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs. And make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
From the South, 98.9 WINN FM. People make the world go
Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of the Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the cable building in Bastia or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum loyalty card today because you deserve Platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WINN FM 98.9. I am your host, Devon Cornelius. Also making the news this week was an opinion piece by Camilo Gonzalez out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It says, every island for itself. Let me read this one. Firstly, it says, we cannot agree to act together in particular ways and remain free to act as we please or as every passing advantage induces us. CARICOM must command our collective loyalty. Unless it does, all the machinery that we devise will not suffice to make it work optimally. Now, the disclaimer, this posting is not in any way meant to represent the official or unofficial views of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is a personal blog, and again, this is by Camilo Gonzalez. The idea of CARICOM died on December 16th, 2020. The eulogy was delivered on February 25th, 2021, in the form of a communique that studiously avoided any mention of the decomposing corpse in the middle of our integration movement. Not many people noticed. CARICOM's dying breath was disguised as a minor diplomatic squabble over Venezuela, a topic that has ceased to excite anyone but the most strung-out political junkie. But make no mistake, the foundation principles of CARICOM, integration, unity, solidarity, coordination, were swept aside. The idea at the very center of the CARICOM experiment could not hold, and all things fell apart. Or the formalistic institutional facade of CARICOM will continue. There are too many professionals from too many countries making too much money and focusing on too many discrete issues of functional cooperation for the institution to lock up shop and send home everyone. But the idea of CARICOM was always greater than the sum total of its component institutional arrangements. The idea was that we were one Caribbean people pooling our sovereignty strategically for the greater good. Caribbean first if you will. The idea of CARICOM was that we would settle our disputes internally and face the world collectively. The idea of CARICOM was that even when we could not agree, we certainly would not attack or hijack one another or engage in internecines, conflicts, to curry favor with neo-colonial overlords. Over years of post-independence struggle and development, CARICOM leaders established carefully calibrated concentric circles of solidarity to guide our diplomatic engagements. At the core, CARICOM as one unit, united and indivisible. The wider Caribbean as the second circle, African peoples third, Latin Americans fourth, the nations of the developing South fifth, the Western Troika of Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom sixth, and the wider developed world seventh. Even as the outer circles and orbits changed over time, CARICOM was conceived to be forever at the center of our diplomatic universe, like the sun, unchanging, immutable. Until December 16, 2020. On that day, at the Organization of American States, an almost implausible series of events destroyed any semblance of CARICOM solidarity. The excellent amounts of former Jamaican Ambassador Curtis Ward and current Antigua and Barbuda Ronald Saunders are worth reading for a full understanding of the farce and its implications. For the purpose of this humble blog posting, the facts are these. A representative of Venezuelan politician Juan Guaido, purportedly speaking on behalf of Venezuela, blamed Trinidad and Tobago for the deaths of a boatload of Venezuelan migrants. The Guaido representative didn't mince words, calling TNT cruel and inhumane in its treatment of Venezuelan migrants. Of course, the real reason of Guaido's ire was that TNT does not recognize his ridiculous claim to be the interim president of Venezuela. I'll stop there for a minute. Let's note a few points. Venezuela is not a member of the Organization of American States. The country filed its withdrawal documents back in 2017. Juan Guaido used to be the head of Venezuela's National Assembly. When the United States objected to the re-election of Nicolas Maduro as fraudulent in 2018, it declared that it was recognizing Guaido as Venezuela's interim president on the basis of his presidency of the National Assembly. About 1/4 of the world's 193 nations followed the U.S. lead. The migrants perished in Venezuelan waters, not Trinidadian waters. They were likely en route to TNT, but they weren't there yet. This is just a short piece or some of an opinion piece by Camilo Gonzalez out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, entitled Every Island for Itself. I'll read piece, and I'll take your calls to hear your comments on this very interesting topic. The phone lines are open, so you can call us at 466-0989-762 and 662. Also, you can send us a WhatsApp with your piece or your comment on this opinion piece. If you want to, as I said, if your phone have no credit, you can call us. Sorry, you can send us a message on WhatsApp at 662-2204. Also, we are open via email at devonne@winnmediaskn.com. We are also live on Facebook, and we are also live via YouTube, where you can participate in this discussion. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Inside the News.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. You're live on Inside the News.
Hi, good afternoon. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Just continuing with the discussion after the break, which we will never have enough time to continue to complete the discussions in reference to what is taking place around the world, around the region, and here in the Federation. But before I continue, let me ask you the question, or a question, and this is in reference to the volcano in St. Vincent, which I continue to pray and ask the Master to continue to spare the people, the government, and the lives of the people in St. Vincent. So do you have any update in reference to that situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
I don't at the moment, but I can get one for you as soon as possible, and I can read that while you listen off air. But I don't currently at the moment have one.
Okay. Well, let me ask you another question. Do you know of any country around the world which do not have any unemployment?
No, I don't.
And you are aware that we had unemployment before 2000 in the Federation? You're aware we had unemployment before 2020?
Everywhere had unemployment. Unemployment did not just come because of COVID.
Right. So it is just unfortunate that the unfortunate detractors, because there are many persons who are seriously and unfortunately are unreasonable, very unreasonable in our federation. Very unreasonable. But my heart really goes out to the millions who are not responsible for being unemployed today.
Mm-hmm. But
imagine.
Sorry, go ahead.
The most powerful nations, have, you're talking about serious amount of unemployment, economic problems, social problems, and all kind of problems in that most powerful nation. Unfortunately, before a few months ago, they had no leader. And where there is no leader, no vision, the people will perish. But that was corrected a few months ago. So fortunately, America have hope, and by extension, the world will have hope. I just want to say that Sylvine said something this morning at 11:50 on your program, and she was absolutely and honestly correct. Sylvine said at 11:50 this morning that there are millions were giving out millions were given out in the last administration and nothing to show for it. And she is so correct.
Caller, let me just ask you, do you have anything to reinforce that?
If I have anything to reinforce that?
Yes, to substantiate that claim.
Well, I can tell you that unfortunately, there are churches who invested in this country and did not get back half of their investment. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I want you to get that particular information. Do you aware that millions of dollars were spent on a development down in Sandy Point called Green Valley? Millions, and not just one. And do you know that the country has nothing to show for that?
Well, I am not aware of those claims, but you, if you do have information on that, you can assist me. Can you do that?
Well, I just want you to go back, and as you're in the media, to search and get the information and report for the information. Well, let me ask you, because it was just said, and it is unfortunate that the media do not confirm this particular statement. Do you know about over a week ago, the dishonorable and horrible leader of the opposition made a ridiculous statement, gave the impression that people die in this country from COVID symptoms? He said some doctor told him that. Are you aware of that statement?
I am not aware of that statement, but again, do you have the statement that you can play for us so we can hear it?
Okay, I guess I will have to get that to you.
Yes.
But you also...
That would definitely help us tremendously. If you have the statement, you can come back and play it for us, because I did not hear the statement.
Okay. So I would want you to research and get in that particular statement, because imagine that the corona, which nobody have any control over, imagine that the leader of the opposition have that even as a joke.
What I would say, caller, unless you can bring the clip to say that he made that statement, I would encourage you to refrain from saying he said such thing, because I did not hear any statement. I must be honest with you. So unless you can reinforce what you're saying with a statement from the leader of the opposition, I would suggest that you do not make such claims.
Well, I can tell you that there are many statements are made on the program that you host, and you never ask anyone. But anyhow, I will move on, because when it comes to the facts, opinion is not facts. So I want you to research to get the facts. I want to say that imagine that we have a situation where we had the severance situation. That is an unfortunate situation, because as long as you have, as I said, a crisis, which we have a crisis now, we didn't have a crisis before 2015. We had none. But let me ask you the question. Do you aware, or are you aware, that there are many persons who cried long water out of their eyes when they waited in the electricity department to pay the electricity bill, crying long waters out of their eyes, and walk straight from the electricity department to the supermarket to buy food? They had to make a decision between buying food and paying the electricity bill. That was before 2015, and nobody will be in the electricity department bawling long water out of their eyes now. There are many persons, yes, wouldn't be able to pay, but they are not working. But they are not working because of the crisis. And because of the crisis, it definitely would compound on the crisis. But I want to ask you a very important question. Are you aware of any of the capital projects started in this country before the corona that ain't continue after the corona? Are you aware of any of the projects?
No, I'm not, but would you be able to enlighten me?
Okay. We had the road, the island main road. That was a project before the crisis. Are you aware of the island main road not continuing? Are you aware that it is continuing?
I'm not aware.
You're not aware of the island main road?
I know the island main road, I know it's being paved now, but you said if it stopped or started?
No, what I'm saying, that it started before the corona.
Yes.
And because of the corona, it did not stop. That is an excellent credit to the government. We had the project down there by the old road bay, which was a serious threat to the lives and the livelihood of our people in our country. That important project still continue after the corona. We had the street lights going up in this country around Bastille. These still continue, among many others that I can pinpoint. The government of St Kitts and Nevis, which is a 90% government, I want to tell you and put it to you and put it to the people of this country. This St Kitts and Nevis government is a 90% government. Before the corona, they were ranked about 96. Obviously, it will be declined. But a 90% government. Do you know that the detractors go around on every single program speaking about the 10% that the government may not do? But they will not speak about the 90% that the government would have done. No other government in the Caribbean, no other government in the Caribbean even rank 50%. None at all. But they are things that I will get into. Serious debates going forward. We have so much to give thanks for. Up to now, not one single death, because of the excellent management of the health professionals leading the way, and by extension, the very responsible government. And we have to give credit, and we have to give thanks, and we have to give praise. All of the detractors, they're not concerned about the country. And I can give you many examples. They are only interested, they love the letter P in the alphabet, P. And it's not the P in progress, it's not the P in prosperity, it's not the P in people, but it's the P in power. That's all they're concerned about. And that is why they said that people can line up in this country to vote. Imagine we had a crisis and people talking about election to vote, not talking about saving lives and livelihood. But I will continue to speak about what is in the best interest of my country. And what is in the best interest of my country, it is not the present opposition. Nowhere, no day, no time. We said enough to them, and we said goodbye to them. We are going to continue because we have serious challenges. Imagine the Secretary of Education in America is planning to open school for 2 days. Every single school in this country open for 5 days. 5 days. And I want people, as I said, to be reasonable and to be responsible and to be objective.
Yes.
No government in the world.
Yes, caller, when you said reasonable, what do you mean?
I mean reasonable and responsible and objective, looking at a situation, realizing that there is a situation and call the situation right.
But caller, earlier you made reference about employment, and you asked the question if before COVID-19, if we had unemployment, what did you mean by that?
Because, as I said, before the corona, there was no crisis. Every single economy going full swing. I mean, every government going full swing, not as much as St Kitts and Nevis, but everything was in full operation. But there was still serious employment every single place and country in the world. Imagine before the government change in 2015, there were people who filed for severance and waited even 10 years and ain't get none. Is the present government paid them? You aware of that?
I'm not aware of that.
I mean, this is what I am saying. There are situations in the country that and in the world that people need to be objective.
Right.
Well, nobody call.
Yes, caller, you have we have some other callers on the line. So thank you so much for your contribution. But very interesting information. You can send me. Do you have WhatsApp?
Yes.
You can send me a WhatsApp at 662-2204 with the clip that you were referring to, with the statement the leader of the opposition may have made, and any other information you would have. The number is 662-2204. That's our WhatsApp number.
Well, I will tell you straight off the bat. Before, I would want you to do your homework. I will give you that opportunity to do your homework, and I can assist you in doing your homework, because I am very surprised that you haven't heard of that statement.
No,
I
honestly did not.
We will continue the debate, because the debate must continue.
Yes, thank you so much for your input, caller. We are still taking calls here on Inside the News. Let me just say I did not come across that statement, but our number is 662-2204. You can forward that statement to us. We are still taking your calls, 466-0989. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Inside the News.
Good day to you again.
Good day. How are you?
In Jesus' name. Now, earlier, earlier I'd made a call, and I was telling you about some of the biblical ways to go in for our country to go forward in full prosperity and the blessings of Jesus Christ. Now, another thing that I should have said that I did not come to mind as well, but another thing that needs to be done in addition to the others is that we need to immediately fully open up the country back again, which should not have been closed in the first place based upon the teachings of the Bible. That is something important that needs to be done immediately.
When you say open the country fully, what exactly do you mean?
Fully. Like before the COVID.
You mean so
Well,
as it is right
before the COVID, actually.
But just to clarify exactly what you're saying, so as it is right now, you're suggesting that the country opens fully with no quarantine or anything like that?
Right.
Okay.
This is the Bible way to go, and I believe doing things the Bible way is the best way to go.
So don't you think that would be a risk?
Of what we think.
Don't you think that would be a risk if we go back to where we were? considering that we are still in the pandemic? Don't you think that would be a risk?
Well, I don't. The World Health Organization has changed the definition of pandemic, because once ago, pandemic would be something that would have caused a ton load of deaths, like more than 1%. And with all due respect, in every country, the amount of people who got the COVID, no more than 1% of the people have died from it. Vast majority have overcome it. But irrespective of anything, the Bible is the best way to go. The Bible is the only way to go. And I would have to trust God that God knows best. For me personally, I believe, based upon what I've heard people say and that sort of stuff, I can't prove it, of course, but my personal belief, my personal gut feeling is that this COVID thing was, I believe we had that since November, December 2019. That's my personal belief, because people say they had sickness that where the symptoms was very much like what is being described as the COVID. And I do not believe that when we shut down, that is when it started coming into the country. Now, I just giving you my personal feeling. But whatever the case is, the Bible way is the best way to go. And if we're going to do the things the Bible way, which we should not have shut down in the first place, and very sad to say, the churches wrongly counseled and advised the government. The churches gave the government wrong, unbiblical counsel and advice. And the church needs to repent of that. The church needs to repent. Because if it doesn't repent, God is going to just further deal with them. But this is the way to go. And lockdown also causes death as well. As a matter of fact, I think the head of CDC, Robert Redfield, I was reading a statement where he said the lockdown has even been causing more deaths than the COVID virus in America because of diagnosis, mistreatment, all sort of stuff. And also has projected as well to cause many more deaths in the future because of the increased poverty and that sort of stuff. So that just to show you that God knows best. And I would have to trust in God that God knows best, and that locking down of a country by the government is not the Bible way to go. And I believe God, once we trust God and do things God's way, things are going to go better than if we go against what the Bible says. Lastly, I would like to say, where President Trump is concerned, he was a very bad leader, I would agree. He was evil, he was wicked. But I believe Biden and Harris, they are even a worse team. And things are going to get even worse on the Biden and Harris if they do not change their ways. And if they don't do things according to the Bible, things are going to get even worse than when things were under Trump. Because the things that they don't start to do, push a lot harder for abortion, which is the murder of unborn human beings, which is the shedding of innocent blood, and which brings the curse of God on the land, which they are pushing far more than even Trump had done. And they're pushing for the transgender and LGBTQ agenda, where even men now could participate in women's sports and women competition and all this sort of stuff. And where they are for the more increasing of taxes and government regulations and all this sort of stuff, things are going to end up being worse under Biden and Harris than they were under Trump. And because they are worse than Trump, as bad as Trump was. So I just wanted to say these few things, and above all this, let's do things the Bible way and trust in God, because God is in control of everything.
Thank you, caller, so much.
When we don't do things the Bible way is when things go worse, and is when things go really destructive and ruinous for us all.
Thank you, caller, so much for your input.
Hello? Yeah,
Thank you for your input. Thank you for your input on our program. We'll take a short break to hear from our sponsors, We'll be back shortly.
The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Basse-Terre or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good afternoon and welcome back to Inside the News. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live.
Good afternoon. I just want to tell you that what the caller said, I heard the opposition leader say it to on a radio station that a doctor tell him that people die from the COVID and the vaccine is water. So I hear him say it. And I want to tell you, do your job very professional. You don't bully people off the radio. You don't pick sides. You're very professional with your job. So I just want to tell you to keep it up. Very, very good job.
Thank you.
You have a safe and a blessed day, okay?
Yes, thank you so much, caller, for your input. Yes, I understand what the previous caller was saying, but I was asking if he would have access to that clip, because personally, I did not hear it. I did not hear it, so I can't say yes for a fact it was said, but I have to be honest with you. I did not hear that clip. So I'm asking that if anybody has that clip, if you could please provide us with it. You can send us via WhatsApp at 662-2204. But I did not hear that clip. We are still taking your calls here on Inside the News. It is 12 minutes past the hour of 1 in our studios, and we are going to end our program at 1:30. Let me say thank you to all of you who have joined us via the different social media platforms, those of you who have been calling, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be a part of our program. Thank you to our sponsors. You are listening to Inside the News on WINN FM 98.9. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live. Hello, good afternoon. You are live.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good
Is it
afternoon.
Inside the News?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes. Okay. I think we get lost in the history, okay, in going back. There's no question that throughout, well, since independence, let's start from there. We can go further back. But since independence, we've had good growth figures. We've had crises before. I mean, things like the closure of the sugar industry, when lots of people were unemployed, became suddenly unemployed. We had to undergo transitions. We've had lots of hurricanes that we've had to deal with, natural disasters. But we've always come through with flying colors, and our growth rates reflect that. So we've never had a problem that we didn't deal with in a satisfactory manner, despite what people might say. In more recent times, present government might not want to admit it, but the fact is they did inherit the best economy in the OECs, okay, when the government changed. And so the least we can expect right now is for that to continue. Otherwise, we'll be going backward, okay? And my point would be, what we want now is a vision for the future. We are now in a different environment. And I think when the clip you played initially with the chamber, what that indicated is, well, it really was a cry for help, okay? And a cry for government to get up and do something that are going to bring people, we would re-engage the economy, give people jobs again, and give people hope, rather than just marking time on the policies of the past, which, yes, they have served us well, but it's going to take more than that to get us back to where we want to be. Okay? I'm thinking what we need now is something like what happened when the sugar industry closed, where the whole economy was transformed into services, where the CBI, things like the CBI, the revamped CBI, came to the fore as a way of bringing in much needed capital for development. I don't know how people could sit here and say that nothing happened with millions that were quote-unquote given away, or with projects that failed. Sure, there were some projects that failed, but there were other projects that were successful. The Hyatt, the Kitchen Hill, the Marriott, all those also came on stream, all right? And so what we need now is something similar to get us back to where we were in terms of a vibrant, progressive economy. And I think the chamber president was offering the assistance of the chamber members. Business people are always good at that. They look for opportunities, and then they make things happen. Okay, they do the necessary investments, and they grow. And that is what we need now. I think we're too much, actually since the last election, we never stopped campaigning and politicizing things. Everything is campaign mode. Everything is done with politics in mind. We can't grow and develop a country like that. Okay? And asking for people, ordinary people, to give solutions. Sure, individual people may have some solutions, but we elect the politicians, the leaders, to have these solutions, right? They're the ones supposedly with the good ideas and the programs and the vision, all right? Not the ordinary people who dealing with day-to-day bread and butter issues, okay? And so it's not too much to ask them to essentially get up and get working, get cracking, okay, and come up with the plans and policies. The chamber has offered to help. There are other groups here that would know exactly what to do. Okay, I mean, we have an institution like the Central Bank, the ECCB here. I mean, packed with a lot of high-powered people, economists and business-oriented people who knows what to do. Well, all of them know what to do. Okay, tap into them. If the individual leaders in government don't have the ideas, well, tap into people like that. You know, but do something. We can't just stay stagnant and here with our hands in our lap, hoping that things are going to get back to normal anytime soon. Because, you know, as the chamber president said, we made some blunders. We have to be forward thinking, or otherwise we might lose the 2022 and 23 tourist season, the cruise tourism. We have to do something, right? And so we should stop the politicizing of everything, and get down to work. Okay. And one last thing with regards to the CARICOM, what I think you played a clip, or you suggested that CARICOM was dead.
I read something from Camilo Gonzalez, an opinion piece from him.
Right. Yeah. You know, people have been saying that for forever. This did not happen overnight. I mean, this convenient positions to take is really our leaders are famous for it, and it's really a shame, you know, considering that so many of them were, you know, they rubbed shoulders together, whether at meetings or at the regional institution, the University of the West Indies, and yet they're not enlightened enough to realize that they either swim together or drown separately, you know? And so, you know, it's like I said, it started with first the vision that was promoted by the previous U.S. administration when they invited selected leaders to Mar-a-Lago, the presidential retreat. And then it continued with Pompeo's visit to Jamaica, where, again, selected people went, right? So we're all over the place as a matter of convenience. I think it's continued with the COVID response, where it's almost as if it was every island for himself. And those who wanted to give token support might give a few thousand of their vaccine to an individual island, instead of collectively coming together and decide who needs it most, because everybody is not in the same place, right? And so you have this crazy position where everybody does as they like. And what do you think would happen in a situation like that?
Interesting.
You know,
I mean,
right? So somehow we have to have somebody, some good leadership that would get everybody together, hammer out a good way forward for our countries, okay? Both at the local level and the sub-regional level, right? And then work that plan, you know? Put down the politics for a little while and work that plan. Otherwise, you know, we might succeed, or a couple of us might succeed, but I think our progress is going to be painfully slow, right? That's what I think. All right, then.
Thank you, caller, for your input. We are still taking your calls here inside the news. The numbers are 662-0989 and 762-0989. Also, we have the WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. If we have no calls, we will begin wrapping up our program for today. Let me say thank you to all of you who have joined thus far. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Inside the News.
Yes, hello. Yes, sorry, it's me again. I want to quickly say something. There are countries and areas that had and still have had lockdown, and there are others that have half lockdown, and there are others that didn't have any lockdown. And you cannot tell which is which by how they were affected by the COVID virus. You can't tell which is which. Now, the theory is if you didn't lock down, or it's going to be stopped in your country. Whereas those areas in the world that did not have a lockdown, like South Dakota, Sweden, and so on, you cannot tell. You don't that them are the worst doing countries in the and areas in the world, because they are places that had hard lockdown and soft lockdown that are doing worse than them and that are doing better than them. But they are not the worst places in the world where the effects of the COVID is concerned. So that's to show that, as many have written and have said, these lockdowns have not really did anything to the COVID, quote-unquote, pandemic. Because when you compare countries that had hard, soft, and no lockdown, you can't tell which is which. Okay, but what happened, though, is that those countries that had the lockdowns, their economy did worse. The economies did worse than those that did not lock down. So there is a difference in the economies, in the results of the harm done to the economy, where those that locked down did worse economically than those that didn't do lockdown. But where the COVID, quote-unquote, pandemic is concerned, you can't tell who was locked down from who wasn't locked down. So that shows where the COVID pandemic is concerned, the lockdown really had no result where the COVID is concerned. So the countries locked down at the peril and destruction of their economy, because there is no evidence anywhere that if they did not lock down, they would have done worse, just like those other countries that didn't lock down and areas that didn't lock down. So I just wanted to because you had asked the question, well, what if we didn't lock down? And we have evidence from areas that didn't lock down that they are not the worst doing places in the world. But where the economy is concerned, the economy was not hit as hard as those areas that were locked down. So I just also wanted to say that as well. And it could be possible. It could be possible depending on how long we had the COVID before we locked down, depending on how long we had it before that. It's possible by the time we reached lockdown, we already had herd immunity. Possible. You know, that's another issue as well. So I just want to say those things. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, so much for your input. We'll be taking no more calls. That's the end of our program. Let me say thank you to all of you who joined us today. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube and the other social media platforms, thank you so much for being a part of our program here on WINN FM 98.9 Inside the News with Devon Cornelius. Until next time, stay safe. Continue to play your part in keeping St Kitts and Nevis safe from the coronavirus, and continue to have a super Saturday. I just want to leave with you a quote I came across earlier today, which I thought was very, 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 very inspirational, in my opinion. It says, before criticizing someone, think how you would be able to cope if you were in that person's position. Before criticizing someone, think how you would be able to cope if you were in that person's position. Have a super Saturday. Take care, everyone.